Okay, so today on Maker Code, I will be building a Wolverine arm. So, found this on Maker World, pretty simple. Everything is 3D printed, so all you need really is just some glue. There's a little piece here that flexes, and it kind of acts like the stopper. So you pull it back. In here are these little springs that are 3D printed, and your finger basically pulls this piece down and it launches forward. So pretty simple. And all you have to do is print all the parts. Everything is included with the print. And this is basically everything you need to print, and you could build this. So my original idea was use something like a linear rail, and it would be mounted something like this, and this would move, and so I would put some springs in there, and this would be kind of attached and then shoot out like so. With some spring action, or use some carbon tubes to put here, make it move that way. But this print was just way too easy, so if I get lazy, this could be my backup. And like I said, all I did was 3D print it all, nothing really special going on here. And these were all the parts. So the first thing I found that I had to fix was originally the plate is all laid out for you with all these parts, but this was on the plate facing up. And immediately the first day my son picked it up and dropped it, all these arms broke off, all these blades. Other reason why is just, if you can imagine, as it's printing up, it's doing it layer by layer, so every single one of these layers is a breaking point. So I printed everything out and then reprinted this, and now I've laid it flat on the build plate. And now one whole strand has to be completely broken, you can say. So it's got a lot more rigidity to it. So now my son's played with this for a good almost a week, and no problems. The only thing really that I found with this is PLA. The supports didn't come out very well, so I'll have to clean that up. But for Halloween being night, no one's ever going to see that. So the plan is just to paint this silver. I have silver PLA. I might try that also real quick just to see what it looks like, see if I even have to print it. This was considered like a metallic color, metallic gray I think it was called, but it's basically just black with some like sparkle to it. Not really a focus on that. You can see it's not metallic looking at all. It's just black with some sparkle to it. So to rebuild this isn't that hard, but I thought I'd just build it up real quick so I'd have two of them, kind of get a feel for it. So kind of these are all the parts. So what you start with is this guy, and that's this guy right here, and this is kind of the only complicated part. That part is going to sit right here, and then it's going to flex. So it just flexes here with these guys. So really these are the only things I had to glue in. And so the hard part of all this was, you'll see here are some notches. So this part goes on this side, and then if you look on here, this is where this attaches. This piece attaches, and there's different lengths he gives. So there's 3 different sizes, kind of fit inside your hand. but that just is going to slide in on the flat side. So there's a ribbed side and then a flat side. This goes down like so. And then when it's there, you just rotate it. Okay, now it's in there. It's kind of lipped in there, so it's stuck. And so again, this is gonna sit here like this now. And as the piece slides in and out, you are just gonna have this rotating, like so. Oops. So the next part is you're going to slide these in upside down, so it should be like this. Yes, that's what it was. And that goes like this. This goes like this. These go in here like this. And that's the way it was. So now it'll slide in. This guy basically slides in like so, and then it locks it into place. So now that I got the orientation right, let's glue it. So I just have some CA glue, and I actually have a million of these small little tips. Okay, so let's take this out now. Put the first one in. So I'm just sliding it up so that it's just flush right there. Right, and then this is going to go here. So that's all correct. Again, I'm just applying a little bit of glue. Activator. One done. Again, we want this to be on the inside. So this one's going to slide in. You want it just in there. Some glue. Activator. Activator that so I don't have to deal with that sticking on my fingers. Yum. Okay, so test fit it one more time on here now. Just to get a good feel for it. There. Sorry, my 3D printer is also running at the same time. Never dull moment. Okay, moves around good. So now I'm going to put some glue in there. Just a little bit of glue. Shove it in there. That's good. Same thing on the other side. A little bit of glue. Shove it in there, and we're almost done. Okay. So this guy moves well. So let's now clean this guy off. Let's break off all the supports off. Again, I'll probably just 3D print this in a silver color, or I'll paint it. I'm not 100% sure which option I'm gonna take. But these supports really stuck on this. Recently saw a video of adjusting your support. I think it was the height that they were playing with. Gotta rewatch that video, but he found that some filaments just have the support stick more than others. I think it was like Uncle Jesse, or his name is. And so he also played with different support heights, or support, I think it was heights, to get this to stick better. So it wouldn't stick too much, not enough. I think he came out with like 0.28 to 0.3 was kind of the sweet spot for, that could have been just for that filament color only, but I believe he tried it in black and whatever filament he was having trouble with. So I was going to look at that video again and kind of get a better idea of what needs to be done. Put that down again. Yeah, it feels like I gotta clean this off just a little bit. It is a sharp edge though, so it does hurt to touch the tip. Okay, while I'm at it, just do a quick clean and a clean. Okay. Okay, so now I can, you basically will have your finger here and it allows it to slide in and out. And then this becomes a lock, so it can only go in one direction. Okay, so next thing was to put this guy on the back. So clean these off real quick. This is gonna go like so. So this, if you slide this all the way down, like so, you'll see that the spring is going to mount right into these holes right here. And I believe I even glued this in just because why not? It wasn't gonna hurt it. Or at least it didn't hurt it from my thing. But now let's get these little things into the holes. Yeah, it feels like support material is a little stuck on one of them. Might have to clean that off real quick. No, it went in. I noticed a small gap when I did this one. I'm seeing that same small gap there, so not a huge deal. And then it was suggested also to coil this up when you do it, just to kind of give it a little more tension. So coiled up versus uncoiled, kind of see a small difference. There. Then I went on this side. I don't remember if I glued it, did I? No, it doesn't feel like I glued it. Okay. So now the cap goes on. And the cap is here. And it just pops right on top. Like so. And then you take your handle, expand it out to do it. Let me see. Is that going to be easier? Yeah. So then just get it over both ends. What I'm trying to do is just get it on the inside. inside, inside. Make sure they're attached again, and then you just slide it. Okay, well, and that's it. And now you slide it on your hand, pull it back, and done. And it just works. You'll see here, as I pull it out, that spring that we coiled here is what's unraveling. I found with this one is just printed in normal PLA. This is tough PLA. Doesn't seem to be making a difference. Pretty durable. Like I said, all I had to do was glue this. I didn't glue these ones. This clamps it all together. And then you can adjust this guy if it's too short or too long. So this one I'm using the shorter one so that maybe it'll be easier for my son. My son has a little bit of trouble. My son and my daughter. So we'll see. It's a little too tight for me. You'll see here versus the larger one here. There's plenty of room for my hand. So with this one. And now I have two of them. They seem to work either hand. So very little effort, no motors involved. And then with your costume, if you have like an armband, you would just have to pierce, I guess, right here. And keep this inside your hand, and then this just sticks out the armband. So I mean, I think the print only took 4 hours. Not bad. Pretty good. Both of them working. So a good alternative. You'll see here that on this PLA one, it's starting to separate the PLA. So it's not a huge deal. It hasn't gone all the way through, but it did kind of have some sort of wear and tear on it after a week. It was about a week's worth of usage. So worst case, you reprint the spring out. All you have to do is slide this piece off, and you can reinstall the new spring. Again, these were the only parts that were glued in, so everything else can be easily. And he gives 4 different sizes of these little hand pieces. So this was the smallest one. This was kind of the medium sized one, and then there's even a larger one. So you have different sizes. This hand piece, my hand's not huge, but it's not small either. My son, who's 3, is able to wear this, so I guess as long as you can fit your hand in here, it's fine. And then if your hand is smaller, you shouldn't have any problems either. So hopefully that helps you assemble this, gives you some good ideas if you wanted to just go the quick and dirty way, which is use something like this, or maybe if I still have time, I'll try to make a motorized one using a linear rail and a spring or something. Because I was thinking something similar. I have a lot of different spring sizes. So just attach it to a spring, and then it could launch it. And then I pull it back to a hook it, and then it launches back out again. So that's another option. But it's basically the same as this, so nothing crazy. And then I've seen another thing online of someone doing a motorized version. So instead of this, it's basically a threaded rod with the motor. So you click a switch, it goes up until it hits a little switch up here, and then press the button again and it goes back down, presses the switch down here to stop. So this thing basically would have a motor pushing it and pulling it, but it's a threaded rod. It seemed a little overkill, but it could work also. I was just thinking something spring-loaded. This, but this is basically the same thing. So what's the point of building something again? Don't reinvent the wheel if it's already there. The other complaint people had when I showed them was just this is short in length. It's less than 12 inches. Might even be like 9 inches. But I mean, for the costume and when you're wearing it, this is all covered. So this is all you see out of your hand. So it's a little easier to wear. So I can show my hand. But so if the costume is there, this is how much would stick out. And it's not too bad. So next video, I'll be finishing this Wolverine mask. I finished the Deadpool mask. So I've got the helmet printed out and sized to me. And now the cowl part of them. I have this 3D printed part and this 3D printed part. This one came out pretty well. This one came out terribly. So in the next video, I'm going to be cleaning this all up. And so I have a couple different options. I have this stuff I've never used before. And then I was also going to try the baby powder with some UV resin because I have a resin printer and a lot of kind of garbage resin that I haven't touched in years. So yeah, hit like and subscribe. Keep up with all these videos I do. I have a lot more things coming up in the future. I have my sim rig. I have a force feedback pedals that I'm about to start building as soon as kind of all this Halloween stuff is done. I have a magic mirror I have to finish. It's pretty much done now. It's just the final touches on it. Many other projects. So yeah, if you want to keep up with all my videos, just hit like and subscribe and check out what else I'm doing. Plenty more coming. Thanks. So I had a little bit of extra of this UV resin left over, so I thought, why not try to fix the print on these? So you'll see here how chunky and bad they look, but it is important that they slide right. So I can't go too far or they won't slide. So I got to make sure I stay just in this region so I don't get the locking mechanism that's on there. So worst case, I 3D print this again, not a big deal. But I thought I'd try to clean it up just a little bit. Why not? So this one I'll be a little bit quicker on everything. So I have my resin that I mixed UV resin for my 3D printer with some baby powder. Nothing too fancy there, just some baby powder till I got it to the consistency of like a syrup. So the ratio, you can say is 2 to 1. I really don't know. I just kept adding a little more until I got just thick enough that it was runny, but not too runny. And then I just have this sponge brush. Now it's really heavy with it. And I'm just going to apply a little on top, like so. Just to fill in all the little gaps. Not too thick and try not to make it go over the edges. And then since it is, I have another sponge here, just kind of wipe it clean. And we'll then just apply some UV resin on, or a UV light on it, just to dry up that amount right there. Hit all the spots. Pretty straightforward. It also removes all the layer lines, which is kind of nice. Okay, so now it's hard. And we do it again. Just apply another little layer to it. I'm just trying to build up a nice smooth layer on it so that it looks nice visually and it's still rigid. It kind of self-levels, which is nice. So again, I'm just gonna wipe off the excess. Looks good. And let it level out a little bit. And then hit it with the UV light again. Okay, make sure it still works fine. No issues, nice and smooth. Tip is a little rough around the edges, but I'll leave that for now. Okay. So it's like with this whole piece, it's not a huge deal because all it does is just go back and forth. It doesn't have any mechanical properties to it anymore. Only this piece has anything I gotta worry about. So let's do that one now since this first one worked out fine. So we'll just again add it. Good. Wipe the edge, wipe the edge. Looks good. Let it settle. And hit it with the UV light. Okay, test it. Everything still works fine. Nice and smooth. Gotta add a little more right here. Okay, let's add a little more where it's roughest. Okay. Let it move itself around. Clean off my edges again. I chose a tall cup just so that when I'm doing this, the light doesn't accidentally get inside the cup. Okay. This was printed out of PLA, I believe, so it's been holding up well against this. There's no like heat causing any problems. Going all the way up to the top. Seems to be working fine still. Good. Nice and smooth now. Just a small amount of sanding if I care on these edges because they are pretty stiff. Last one. Okay. Okay, let it level out. And hit it. I printed with this, this is like a metal PLA from, I believe it was Bamboo Lab, but it came out really black, too black, but it's really just like black with metal flakes in it more than anything. I was not happy with the colors, so I think I'm going to paint these silver just so they really pop. But I wanted to clean this all up before I painted them, just because they're pretty rough on the edges. Where this is where it printed, the supports were sitting here. So when I pulled off the supports, they weren't gentle. Really gave it a bad texture. So this is just cleaning that up, and then I'll sand it down a little bit and paint it, and be good to go. Kind of a quick and easy way to get some claws, because the original plan I had, if you watch the other videos, a little too elaborate, I think, for what I'm needing out of this. This is functional, and honestly, it's just quick and easy. Can't go wrong. Okay, that should do it. Okay, so first one is done. Put it on like so. Pull it back. Everything works fine still. Let's do it to this one now. So you'll see again, it's all beat up. So we're just trying to clean that all off. I'll sand it, paint it, be done. Then just try to figure out how to get this all to sit inside my leotard costume underneath, so that you can pull it and just pull down. I believe it has gloves built into it, so I just have to kind of squeeze this all into the glove, but we'll see. Not a huge deal one way or another. So I'm just filling in these layer lines, just putting a light coat on it. Wiping off any excess. And hitting it with the UV light. Waiting for it to level out a little bit. Okay. From my point of view, it's pretty smooth now. All the layer lines are gone on the tip. Edge looks good. So for what it's supposed to do, it's perfectly fine. It's dry already. I don't have to wait hours to find out. It's pretty much instantaneously dry. If I poke at it to try to like see if it's just a skin, it's dry, it's good. This is definitely the way I'm going to go forward with 3D prints and having to clean up these kind of problems. Just UV resin with a little bit of baby powder. Anytime layer lines need to be removed, I know I can quickly go to this. The only problem you'll have is intricate spots where you don't want it to pull in to the cracks and stuff. But I think just make it thicker. If you make this even thicker so it can't get in those cracks, or if you fill in those cracks, I was gonna do with Play-Doh and then remove the Play-Doh later, and if the Play-Doh wouldn't come out all the way, I could use water to dissolve the Play-Doh. So it was kind of my plan in the beginning, but it wasn't really going into the cracks, so I wasn't too worried. But if I had to, I knew I had some options available to me. So screw it up here, didn't get all the excess off. So let's see if this works. Might have a problem here. No, no problem at all. So I'll still sand it a little bit just in case, but still perfectly fine. And for the most part, that all looks good. Just a little quick sand. Get all the rest of this smooth. When I was playing with it too much, I actually poked a hole into it. So this was another reason why I was doing this. I could just fill that hole up without needing to print a whole new one. So let's see if I can fill up this hole. Yep, hole's filled. And then we'll just give it a nice thick coat. Like the edge, like the edge. A little bit more, wiped a little too much off. Okay, let it level out. With the UV, I'm going to fill that crack in a little more, that hole. Good. Fill this hole in there a little more. There. Hit it with the UV. Now the hole is gone, and it's probably stronger too. So we're just hitting it a little bit more with the UV light. Okay. Everything's dry already, which is good. Everything works good. So I'll hit it with some silver paint and see what I get. Question is, am I going to disassemble it to paint it or not? I don't see why I wouldn't disassemble it, but do I really need to is a question. Because all I care about is this part. And I don't think the paint will screw anything up too much. The spring is inside here, so it's going to be covered. And then these springs are pretty minimal movement. So I don't think the paint's going to affect it. And again, I can always 3D print it if it does. Okay, let's do a quick little sand. I just want to see if I'm going to run into some problems with removing too much. So this is just 220 grit. You see it just comes right off, pretty easy. To 3D print, or to sand after you 3D print it. Give it a nice straight edge, because it's pretty jagged on the edges. Yeah. Here. Clean it up. Again, no one will probably ever see these details, so it's not a huge deal. This is just to clean it up a little bit. Yes, feels good. Last one. Like a manicurist now, fixing their nails. Clean these edges off. Feels good. Clean this edge a little more. And I'm done with this one. Ready for paint. Go. Test it out again. Yep, no problems. No, hopefully it'll look good silver. Okay, this one's done. So it's when I filled the hole up, so I had a little bit thicker. Okay, good enough. Not gonna need to be done that much. Kind of making this one straight again. This one has a big bump. That should do it. Yeah, there we go. Still a little rough. Okay. It's good. So it doesn't need that much sanding. Okay. Good. And last one. go. All done. Gonna wash it off, but all looks good. Nice and smooth. Not all jagged looking anymore. So it should work out good. That way anyone who actually decides to look any closer won't comment on that edge. But okay. Hope you liked this. If you did, please hit like. If you like these videos, subscribe. I'll be working on a lot of other projects like this. Finishing the Wolverine one. I've finished a Deadpool helmet. And now I'm going to be starting on my robotic stuff. So I have a lot of mechanical and electrical AI design work ahead of me. Building autonomous robots. Starting with bases from toys. So I have a Robo Scout that I have quite a few of them that I'm gonna retrofit. So yeah, if you like anything, hit subscribe and keep up with me. Thanks.